everyone, and welcome back to another episode. I'm Emma, and I'm so happy you're here with us today.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul. It's wonderful to be back here again. Emma, how are you doing today?
Hi, Paul. I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm excited about today's topic. How about you? How's your week been?
My week has been good. A little busy, but good. I've been working on a project at home. I'm trying to organize my garage.
Oh, organizing a garage. That sounds like a big job.
It is. I found so many things I forgot I had. Old books, tools, boxes of stuff. It's like a treasure hunt.
That's actually kind of fun though, right? Finding old things and remembering memories?
Yeah, it is. I found my old English textbooks from high school. That's actually perfect timing for today's topic.
Oh, really? That's interesting. So that brings us to what we're talking about today, right?
Exactly. Today, we're going to talk about mastering English grammar. This is something a lot of people struggle with.
Yes, grammar can be really challenging, even for native speakers sometimes.
That's so true. I still make grammar mistakes, and English is my first language.
Me too, but I think that's normal. Nobody's perfect, right?
Absolutely. So, Emma, before we talk about grammar tips, can I ask you something?
Of course. What do you want to know?
When you were learning English, what was the hardest grammar topic for you?
That's a good question. I think verb tenses were really difficult for me, especially the perfect tenses.
The perfect tenses, like present perfect and past perfect?
Yes, those ones. I could never understand when to use them. I would get so confused.
I can imagine. Even native speakers sometimes use them incorrectly. Can you give me an example of what confused you?
Sure, like when do I say I have eaten versus I ate? They both talk about eating in the past, right?
Right. I understand your confusion. That's actually a really common problem for English learners.
It is. So how did you learn to understand these differences? You're a native speaker, so was it natural for you?
Well, as a native speaker, I learned by hearing people use these tenses correctly when I was growing up, but I couldn't always explain the rules.
That's interesting. So you knew how to use them, but you didn't know why.
Exactly. It's like I could feel when something sounded right or wrong, but I couldn't tell you the grammar rule.
That makes sense. It's like intuition. But for people learning English, they need to understand the rules first.
Right. They can't rely on intuition because they didn't grow up hearing English every day.
Exactly. So, Paul, let's talk about how people can master English grammar. What's your first piece of advice?
Well, my first advice is don't try to learn everything at once. Grammar is huge. There's so much to learn.
Yes, that's such important advice. It can feel overwhelming if you try to learn everything together.
Right. So instead, focus on one topic at a time, like spend a week just learning about present tense, then move to past tense.
That's a really smart approach. Take it step by step, piece by piece.
Exactly. What about you, Emma? What advice would you give?
Let me think. I would say practice is more important than just reading about grammar rules.
Oh, that's a great point. Can you explain what you mean?
Sure, a lot of people read grammar books and memorize rules, but they don't actually use the grammar in real sentences.
Right. So they know the theory, but not the practice.
Yes, exactly. It's like learning to swim. You can read about swimming, but you have to actually get in the water.
I love that analogy. You have to practice actually using the grammar, not just reading about it.
Right. So my advice is, after you learn a grammar rule, write 10 sentences using that rule, or speak 10 sentences out loud.
That's excellent advice. Putting it into practice immediately helps your brain remember it better.
Exactly. And it also helps you see if you really understand the rule or not.
Good point. Because sometimes you think you understand, but when you try to use it, you realize you're confused.
Yes, that happens to me all the time. I think I understand something, but then I try to use it and I don't actually understand it.
I know that feeling. Okay, so we have two pieces of advice so far. Learn one topic at a time and practice using what you learn.
Right. What's your next tip, Paul?
Okay, my next tip is about mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Ooh, that's important. But a lot of people are scared of making mistakes, aren't they?
They are, and I understand why. Nobody wants to look silly or feel embarrassed, but mistakes are actually really helpful.
How are they helpful?
Well, when you make a mistake, that's when you really learn. Your brain notices the mistake and remembers the correct way better.
So mistakes are actually good for learning.
Yes, mistakes are evidence that you're trying and learning. If you never make mistakes, it means you're not challenging yourself.
Wow, that's a really positive way to think about mistakes. I love that perspective.
Thank you. I think a lot of learners need to hear this. Making mistakes is normal and necessary.
Absolutely. You know, Paul, I want to share a personal story about making mistakes.
Please do. I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so when I was learning English, I was always so worried about making grammar mistakes. I would think for a long time before speaking because I wanted to be perfect.
And what happened?
Well, one day my teacher told me, Emma, you need to speak more. Don't worry so much about being perfect. And she explained that making mistakes helps you learn faster.
That's a wise teacher. Did you take her advice?
I did. I started speaking more, even when I wasn't sure if my grammar was correct. And you know what? I learned so much faster.
That's wonderful. So you stopped worrying about perfection and just focused on communicating.
Exactly. And yes, I made a lot of mistakes. But people understood me, and they often corrected me gently, which helped me learn.
That's such a valuable lesson. Communication is more important than perfect grammar.
Right. Of course, we should still try to use correct grammar, but we shouldn't let fear of mistakes stop us from practicing.
Absolutely. Okay, Emma, let's talk about some specific grammar topics. What do you think is the most important grammar topic for beginners?
I think verb tenses are probably the most important because you use verbs in almost every sentence.
I agree. Verbs are essential. So how would you suggest someone learn verb tenses?
Well, I would start with the three basic tenses: present, past, and future. Master those first before moving to more complex tenses.
That makes sense. Start with the foundation. Can you give me examples of each?
Sure. Present, I eat breakfast every day. Past, I ate breakfast this morning. Future, I will eat breakfast tomorrow.
Perfect examples. Those are clear and simple. Now, what about the continuous tenses, like I am eating?
Yes, those are important too. I would learn those after mastering the simple tenses. Present continuous, I am eating right now.
Good. And what about perfect tenses? You mentioned those were hard for you earlier.
Yes, they were. Perfect tenses are more advanced. I think learners should save those for later after they're comfortable with simple and continuous tenses.
That's a smart progression. Don't overwhelm yourself with the complex stuff right away.
Exactly. Take it step by step. Build your knowledge gradually.
Okay, so what about other grammar topics, like articles, like a, an, and the?
Oh, articles. Those are tricky. A lot of languages don't have articles, so this is a completely new concept for many learners.
Right. In some languages, you just say book instead of a book or the book.
Yes, so learning when to use articles can be really confusing. Do you have any tips for this, Paul?
Well, the basic rule is use a or an for general things and use the for specific things that both people know about.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. I saw a dog in the park. Here, a dog is general because I'm mentioning it for the first time. But if I say, the dog was very friendly, now I use the because we're talking about that specific dog from before.
Okay. So the is used when both the speaker and listener know which specific thing we're talking about.
Exactly. But I'll be honest, articles are really hard. Even advanced learners make mistakes with articles sometimes.
That's true. It takes a lot of practice to get articles right. But the more you read and listen to English, the more natural it becomes.
Absolutely. Reading is so helpful for learning grammar naturally, which brings me to my next tip.
Oh, what's your next tip?
Okay, my next tip is read a lot in English. Reading helps you see correct grammar in context over and over again.
Oh, yes, I love this advice. Reading is one of the best ways to improve your grammar without even realizing you're studying.
Exactly. When you read, you see how native speakers use grammar naturally. Your brain starts to recognize patterns.
That's so true. What kind of reading material do you recommend?
Well, it depends on your level. For beginners, maybe children's books or simple news articles. For intermediate learners, young adult novels or blog posts.
Good suggestions. And I think it's important to read things that interest you. If you're bored, you won't want to read.
Absolutely. If you like cooking, read recipes and cooking blogs. If you like sports, read sports articles. Make it enjoyable.
Yes, learning should be fun, not just work. When you're interested in what you're reading, you learn better.
Definitely. Emma, what about writing? Do you think writing is helpful for mastering grammar?
Oh, yes, writing is extremely helpful. When you write, you have to think carefully about grammar because you can see your sentences.
That's a good point. When speaking, everything happens quickly, but when writing, you have time to think and check your grammar.
Right. So I always recommend keeping a journal in English. Write about your day, your thoughts, your experiences.
That's a great idea, and you don't have to show it to anyone. It's just for practice.
Exactly. It's a safe space to practice and make mistakes without worrying about anyone judging you.
I love that. What else can people write to practice grammar?
Well, you could write emails to English-speaking friends, or comment on English websites and forums, or write stories if you enjoy being creative.
Those are all excellent suggestions. The key is to write regularly, right?
Yes, consistency is so important. Even if you just write for 10 minutes every day, that adds up over time.
Absolutely. 10 minutes a day is better than 1 hour once a week.
Regular practice creates habits, and habits lead to improvement.
Well said. Okay, Emma, let's talk about grammar resources. What resources do you recommend for learning grammar?
Oh, good question. There are so many resources available now. Let me think. I like grammar websites that have exercises you can practice.
Like websites where you can do grammar quizzes and get immediate feedback?
Yes, exactly. That immediate feedback is really helpful because you know right away if you understood the rule correctly.
I agree. What about grammar books? Do you think those are still useful?
I think they can be useful as a reference, like if you want to look up a specific grammar rule and see examples.
Right, so not for reading cover to cover, but for looking things up when you need them.
Yes, grammar books can be very dry and boring if you try to read them like a novel.
That's true. They're more like dictionaries or reference guides.
Exactly. What about apps? There are a lot of grammar apps now.
Apps are great. They're convenient because you always have your phone with you. You can practice grammar while waiting in line or riding the bus.
That's a good point. You can turn small moments of free time into learning opportunities.
Right. Even 5 minutes here and there adds up.
Definitely. Paul, what about getting feedback? How can learners know if their grammar is correct?
That's a really important question. Having someone check your grammar is very valuable.
Yes, but not everyone has access to a teacher. What can they do?
Well, there are online communities where you can post your writing and get feedback from other learners or native speakers.
Oh, like language exchange websites?
Yes, or forums where people help each other learn. There are also apps where you can connect with language partners.
That's great. So even if you don't have a formal teacher, you can still get feedback and help.
Exactly. The internet has made language learning so much more accessible. You can connect with people all over the world.
It's amazing, really. You can practice with native speakers from the comfort of your home.
Absolutely. Okay, Emma, I want to ask you something. Do you think grammar rules are the most important thing in learning English?
That's an interesting question. What do you think?
Well, I think grammar is important, but I don't think it's the most important thing. Communication is more important.
I agree with you. Grammar is a tool to help you communicate clearly, but if you focus only on grammar and never practice communicating, that's not helpful.
Right. I've met people who know a lot of grammar rules but can't have a natural conversation.
Yes, because they're thinking too much about rules instead of just communicating their ideas.
Exactly. So there needs to be a balance. Learn grammar, but also practice using it in real communication.
That's the key. Balance between studying grammar and actually using the language.
Well said. You know, Emma, I think we've covered a lot of really helpful information today.
I think so too. Let's summarize the main points for our viewers.
Good idea. So our first tip was, learn one grammar topic at a time. Don't try to learn everything at once.
Right. Second, practice using grammar in sentences. Don't just memorize rules.
Third, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes help you learn.
Fourth, read a lot in English to see grammar used naturally in context.
Fifth, write regularly to practice grammar actively.
And sixth, use online resources, apps, and communities to help you learn and get feedback.
Great summary. And remember, grammar is important, but communication is the goal.
Yes, don't let perfect grammar stop you from communicating. It's okay to make mistakes while you're learning.
Absolutely. Emma, do you have any final thoughts for our viewers?
Yes, my final thought is be patient with yourself. Mastering grammar takes time. It's a gradual process, not something that happens overnight.
That's wonderful advice. Learning grammar is like building a house. You need to lay a strong foundation first, then add pieces one at a time.
I love that metaphor. And my other final thought is make grammar learning enjoyable. Find ways that work for you and that you actually enjoy.
Yes, if you enjoy the process, you'll stick with it longer and learn more effectively.
Exactly. What's your final thought, Paul?
My final thought is remember why you're learning English. Whether it's for work, travel, making friends, or personal growth, keep that motivation in mind.
That's beautiful. When you remember your why, it's easier to stay motivated through the challenging parts.
Exactly. And learning grammar is definitely challenging, but it's also rewarding when you start to see your improvement.
So true. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching today's episode about mastering English grammar.
Yes, thank you all for being here. We hope you found these tips helpful and practical.
Remember, take it one step at a time. Focus on one grammar topic, practice using it, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
And read a lot, write regularly, and use all the wonderful resources available online.
Most importantly, be patient with yourself and enjoy the learning journey.
Perfect. Well, everyone, we'll see you in our next episode.
Until then, keep practicing your grammar and keep speaking English with confidence.
Yes, don't let grammar rules intimidate you. You're doing great, and every day of practice makes you better.
Wonderful. Okay, everyone, take care and happy learning.
Bye, everyone. See you next time.
Bye-bye.